Alright, let's learn about how to prepare our local workstation for Angular development. So first step when getting into front-end development with Angular as well as other frameworks such as React and so on is to install some necessary tooling. If you don't have it already because you most probably use it as your version control system for other programming languages, make sure you have Git installed. And so we can go to the Git SCM site where we will find all the necessary downloads for your corresponding operating system. And so once you have installed that, you can go to your local shell, being it on Windows, the command prompt, or the Git shell, the Git bash, which comes pre-installed on Windows systems. On Linux and Unix-based systems such as macOS, you will have your according terminal. And so if you type there Git and you hit enter, you should get the available commands from Git. With that, you know you have Git successfully installed. One of the next things we are going to install is Nodejs. Now, Nodejs.org is the main website, and Node is actually a JavaScript runtime on top of the Chrome V8 engine that allows you to write JavaScript, usually for writing server-side JavaScript. However, Nodejs comes bundled with NPM. And if we search NPM, we get to npmjs.com, which is basically a package manager system that comes bundled with Node, and which is not only used on the server side, basically for server-side Node programming, but also for including packages for front-end development. And so, for instance, if we search here like jQuery, we'll be able to download and install jQuery. As you can see, the bundled command npm install jQuery will allow us to kick in jQuery as well. Usually there is also GitHub repository linked and much more information. So in order to install Node and NPM, you can just download your corresponding version for your operating system. There's the long-term support editions usually, as well as the current edition. Based on your needs, choose one of the two. Now, once you have Node installed on your system, make sure it is included into the path variable, such that we have it available here on our command line again. Now, if you write Node, the terminal, the interactive REPL should open so that you can write JavaScript in it. Let's have a quick test. As you can see here, this prints out correctly the message. Similar to Node, with it also npm comes bundled. So if you write npm and hit enter, you should again see the available commands, which tells you that you have installed it successfully. Now, having Node and npm set up, we can now finally install the Angular CLI. If you go to cli.angular.io, you will have the main website of the CLI. Here you can see also the commands to install the Angular CLI, so we can just copy and paste this. And since we have npm already set up, we can now execute this command and install it. I won't do it on my machine because it's already there, so feel free to go ahead and hit enter. Once installation terminates, if you write ng, which is for the global CLI, and hit enter, you should actually again get a list of available commands, which tells us that the CLI is successfully installed. Great, now that we have the tooling set up and installed, let's generate a new Angular CLI application and see where it actually compiles and runs. To do so, we can again copy here a command. Let's create a folder in order to separate it from the rest of our files. I'm using here, for instance, my tests. Then I enter that folder. Now we can copy in the command. Feel free to name your app here as ever you want, like demo app, whatever you feel is correct, and then hit enter for starting installation. You will get a couple of questions here. You can just go ahead and answer them as you like. And now the installation should actually take place. Once the installation finishes, if we look at our file system, we can now see that there is a folder that is named the same way we named our app. So let's go into that folder. And now in order to start our application, let's simply do an npm start. So the compilation process finished successfully. We can now go to localhost 4200 and see what happens. Awesome. So if you see this site, you have now successfully configured your local workstation to get into Angular development.